Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and I'm here with Sakane.
Hello, everybody.
We're jumping back into our game where we are casting a bunch of players going at it. Typically, I forget what was the exact criteria we had, but I think it was like less than 5 multiplayer games.
Yeah, you asked for new players who hadn't won a multiplayer game before, I think.
Yeah.
And we have some feedback.
So from Satis, he says, I made it to year 2. That's not bad. Been waiting to fight this blob of hell in my capital till I get Evo 5, which happens next turn. Then I can at least have fun with a bit of Shadow Blast and make Joman sorry. If you can't win... Oh, if you can win, then win. If you can't, then try to be a pain in the ass.
It's a
That's my motto.
It's a good motto to live by in Dominions 5.
Yeah. Except I would probably change it. If you can't win, turn into a giant salt elemental and...
That's a mod nation that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Salt elemental.
Yeah. They can summon Bane Venom Charm carrying dudes.
Oh, jeez. They're all assassins.
Okay, so from Bogaroo, nap 3 with Ulm and Bogaroo. Oh, nap 3 between Ulm and Bogaroos, and then nap 3 between Marignon Bogaroos. Okay.
Which was earlier, which has been in place for a while.
So the Ulm and Bogaroos didn't seem like they had a big border.
Yeah, they have a very small border, but
I guess it's still nice to know. Oftentimes I don't even bother napping diagonals. It's not even worth it to me, because I'm like, if you're dumb enough to attack me, then I'll probably kill you if we're at a diagonal.
I guess it depends.
It depends how big. But
if you're worried about like another war, like a coalition, not a coalition, but like just getting teamed up on.
Yeah. And in this case, he's about to be a big neighbor since they're eating Agartha. But
yes, that might be why they suddenly negotiated something.
Right.
So I guess let's do Agartha and Bogaroos. Bogaroos claiming land.
Oh, this is a pretty sizable PD dump here.
Which is unfortunate, because all that gold is going to waste.
He's got his mages right out in front, but they're not taking much archer fire.
Yeah, he got a little lucky there. He had 2 skeletons arrow catching out in front, which doesn't work as well as it used to, but worked this time.
Yeah, this is not going to go well for Agartha. Okay, how many troops do you think he killed?
2.
3. Just the long dead.
Just the long dead.
I thought he would have gotten him out choosing that.
So that really counts as 2.
Yeah. That is an expensive loss right there.
Well, those were some of the routed troops, I'm sure, from one of these previous Titan fights.
Now, he didn't leave one guy behind. Normally, if you're moving an army off, you want to leave like your most crippled guy behind on the fort. But he didn't.
Yeah.
And he has now done something interesting. He has I forget what you call this in military tactics, but when you get between an army and a city.
Yeah, I don't know what the specific term is, but that sentence describes it pretty well, so.
Well, like in the Civil War, you had Richmond, which was the capital of the South after a while, and then you had DC, and they were very close to each other. And the like fighting slogan for the North was "On to Richmond." And the South was always constantly worried about the Union Army getting between its army and then Richmond. But I can't remember what the word is. Yeah. But there's like this moment where you're like,
"Oh shit!
Oh fuck!" And it's basically this moment right here, because this is like the checkmate move. He's got 2 huge stacks, and he's got this guy's army has been drawn out of position to defend its capital.
Yeah, I think Agartha really has been outmaneuvered because, the best, they're all bad scenarios, but Agartha could have hoped that by consolidating all his army in the fort in Agartha, he could have the big final last stand at the moment of his choosing. Now, if Agartha feels ready to take on Bogaroos, for the final battle now, then I guess this doesn't matter so much, right? Let's say Bogarus moves on to the capital next turn, Agartha moves next to the capital, and then they could have a big fight on top of the capital next turn if Agartha wanted to have the
Well,
fight.
but
right
he
now.
loses the PD advantage.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Which,
yes, which is
in a desperate fight, like if he has any chance of coming back, he really can't afford to lose his cap PD. I don't think.
Well, and if you were going to sacrifice the cap PD, it's because either you were waiting for some key tech to come online,
Right.
and you can last a long time behind your fort walls with all your army in there.
Yeah.
Because don't they have castle defender bonuses too?
On some of them, but not the troops that they've been.
Not the ones.
Well, no, these ones they do. The entrance guard. Yeah, they do.
And also Agartha has plenty of useful summons. So they, the more turns it takes to siege down the fort, the more summons they're making, their army is actually growing in there. But now that's going to be awkward.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, too, and I think this is really important, is once you get a player desperate, you start creating predictable moves, which allows you as the attacker to take the advantage. So anyway, this is certainly going to achieve that, right? We know this army is going to come here. So that even leaves a predictable move here. He could do a PD dump with this army and not go on the fort, right? And then catch these guys with a huge PD dump if he wanted to. I don't think that's the play, but those are the types of plays that start getting opened up when you force your opponent into a corner.
Yep. I would, as Bogarus, I would actually...
Bogarus doesn't want to fight in a cave.
Yes, for one thing.
Yeah.
It's true. That happens to be a cave, and so also the PD is probably terrible.
Yeah.
But I would also, I think Bogarus kind of, even though he got Agartha out of position, Bogarus right now, that army, that Southern Bogarus army has actually been running from the Agarthan army.
Right.
They actually don't want to fight.
Well, when they join this, they can win, I think.
Yes, when they
join,
I
didn't think
agree.
about the cave here. I don't know how they'll hold up in an early fight in a cave. If this army moves here and then Bogarus Doomstacks on, I don't know if he can win in a cave.
And that's a scary... Does
Penumbras, I think,
Lady Agartha have
power.
Good... does Lady Agartha have high enough earth to do earthquake pretty easily?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they can, but it's on their shitty... I mean, later they get 2 miracles and stuff, like a summon.
Yeah.
And then early, their cap-only mages can kind of do it, but they're slow to recruit, and then they tend to kind of kill themselves and stuff when they cast it. I mean, you can do it, but...
I mean, this would be the time to do it if Bogarus puts his whole army on your capital.
Well, I mean, you're going to have your own human troops.
Just poke out. You poke out with a one cap mate and do it, and just wreck half the Bogarus human army.
I don't really see that happening here, but it could work. I don't know.
I would like to see Bogarus claim all of the Agartha land first.
Yeah.
Continuously threaten the cap, but go ahead and lock down all the other forts, grab all the other land, and start pushing your dominion in there.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I think if you get the opportunity to do a 2-turn pop on a cap fort, you're going to take it. But, yeah.
I would even move... Jeez. Yeah. I might not even move on to the cap, right? I go maybe southwest.
Oh, I think you do.
Yeah. With both armies?
Yeah. Because I think with being in a cave, you have to be pretty careful. But just
because
clearing the PD
I don't think
is really
Agartha
valuable.
patrols here, right? I don't think Agartha patrols.
No, I don't think so either. I think you do it just to kill the PD.
To kill the PD.
And that means you can keep checking his cap with a minor raiding force and fucking him up.
Okay, but here's the next level move. If we know he's not going to patrol, then you just take the cap with the Southern Army.
No, but he could patrol. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you get into but then you're taking a risk as Bogarus, where if you misanticipate, or if he knows that you're thinking what he's thinking, and he outplays you, then all of a sudden you now can't go on the offensive. If he kills this army, which he could with this army and the PD, in a cave, then that really takes the edge off of Bogarus's push.
Yeah. I'm also unfortunately not seeing any clever moves from Agartha here. I don't see a easy, reliable way that he gets to put his army together.
Well, I mean,
on
I think
Agartha.
you just have the obvious way, right? Which is hide in the capital, pull this army out, and then anticipate having a big battle in the capital. But then if Bogarus moves off, then you're going to have a more proper Doom stack.
Yeah, then you get what you
and
want.
But you get this same cycle repeating out where this fort's now popped, so you're going to be down a fort and chasing a Bogarus army around.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not looking good. We're not seeing any great moves here for Agartha.
I think Agartha is basically checkmate at this point. But yeah, unless they have like a cool god come online.
I think they have some kind of rainbow elemental bless, if I remember.
Yeah.
With resistance stuff. Okay.
Coming down here, the Cetician front. Cetis has struck out. And I don't know, this wasn't, I don't think, the full force.
So no, it pretty much was, because there was it was only a handful of melee chaff. It was mages and crossbows.
Okay, and the fort is now popped for Cetis. So this is a really weird move.
That's awkward.
Yeah. Hey, we moved our army away for the final battle. Just
whoops.
And this you can calculate. Like, you don't get surprised by your cap fort popping most of the time.
Yeah, you can just count.
I mean, the army's the same.
Yeah, I mean, just count like each turn it's been going down by so much.
Right.
So, well, next turn we expect some fireworks here on Cetis.
Right. He did split it. He had half of it come this way. I knew he split it.
Okay. Yeah, 17 city guards. So he's just trying to raid back what Raga is taking.
And Raga's just taking however much he can. Just ultimate greed.
Yeah.
And then we have Atlantis coming in here, moving on a throne. Sorry to jump around a little bit, but
well, it's on the same area. So this throne has a lot of beef, but shouldn't be a problem for
Falling Frost. Nice. Does he have these guys communioned up? He does. Very good. Let's see what the communion he went for was. 5 slaves. And it looks like there's about... It looks like 5 slaves and like 4 masters or 3 masters.
Yeah, it looks just about balanced.
Yeah. So just major Falling Frost coming down.
Which is actually a great call against these vine ogres.
Yeah, they're just getting completely wrecked.
Honestly, it's a great call against pretty much everything here.
And the communion just... I mean, it's just powering through these guys. So the masters have hardly any fatigue. The slaves also don't have much fatigue either. So, yeah. They can just do this all day with the setup he has.
And just by bringing the sheer numbers that he has, his line of shamblers has wrapped around the blob of IV, whatever's.
People hate water magic so much, like the amount of hate that water magic gets in multiplayer forums. Water magic's good.
I like water magic.
Yeah. I mean, Falling Frost does get countered, right? Because it's not armor piercing or armor negating damage. So, like, once all the protection buffs come out, it's not very good. But, like, if you're a nation that wants to rush evocation, like Atlantis, you can see, like, unprepared armies, they get completely wrecked. So...
I mean, and water is actually like Frozen Heart is one of the better low path, damage spells. And then at the high end, you've got Liquefy. So what's not to like?
Yeah. Okay, so Cetis fighting back.
Well, fighting back, but at an odd moment.
At an odd moment. Yeah, I don't know about this.
Now, I'm also curious what what Raga, he's sort of consolidating all of that army, and he might be going for that Sitis throne, not Sitis throne, Sitis fort near Abyssia.
Yeah, and I don't know if Satis can hold this.
I
know
don't
if he
think
can
so.
hold it. Unless he has assassins. Which you only need 3 assassins to potentially kill this, but the nice thing about taking this, though, was he cut off income from Raga tracing this way, so... and this army actually may go over here, and I don't know, but it potentially... How many Zidans? 10? Probably not. If he has good scripting on mages or something, there's a chance he could kill this army with this combined in the Fort PD.
But I would hide inside and use the turns to assassinate.
Yeah, if possible. But, the thing is, his assassins are cap only, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, and we don't know where they are. Like, they might be in his cap assassinating Joman dudes.
Right.
Probably no.
So that is this conflict. And we're going to have a big spicy battle next turn. Oh, wait. Okay.
Oh, the villains from 6 turns ago.
Yeah.
Finally cleaned up.
From those free misfortune scales.
We can take a quick look at Lemuria. Nothing much has happened.
Okay, Lemuria, which it's hard to even find on the map now these days.
Yeah. Gath has moved on to his wasteland,
the
most prized possession. Something I was thinking about earlier today is I realized that early on, actually this is true for all the players, but it might have come out the worst for Gath, which is we don't know the players' builds. We're just inferring them. And so, for a long time, I was kind of shitting on Gath's larger bless. Now, I still don't like it, but, Gath was going for crazy meme bless. He's got regenerating quickness giants. So it kind of doesn't really matter. He could have taken anything for the first year. We were analyzing his whole strategy, or I was analyzing his whole strategy just based on, what we saw for the first year. And so that alone, taking out of context, yeah, it was bad. Now, if you rethink his game in terms of, he was just kind of biding his time until year 1 and he got his quickness regen bless online, that does put things in a new light. Now, I still think, the big blob of giants is questionable, not having any other infrastructure, his choosing this target as Lemuria. I think those criticisms are still valid. Now, then again, he is getting his wasteland, which is like a key thing for him. So, if you're the Gath player or anybody else here in this game, we do have limited information. I would say if your strategy is, I'm going to go for a ridiculous bless that's going to come online on year 1, I think that you need to execute with that bless a move that's going to make up for your slow progress in the first year.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that taking 4 provinces from Lemuria is good enough.
Yeah.
For quickness regen 50 Gibors, right?
Yeah, the thing one way to think about blesses, how I like thinking about them, is they're basically things you can do later in the game with magic. Not always. I mean, there's some things you get on a bless you can't get with magic.
Right.
But for the most part. So you need to make a play. Because in the late game, a Scales Nation will probably beat you. If they're equivalent size and stuff. Because they're going to have way more income.
Well, the way you beat the Scales Nation is by using your bless early to have accumulated so much territory that your crappier scales are worth as much as his scales because you have twice as much land.
Right, and you don't need to be making as much as a Scales Nation because presumably you can spend your dollar better than a Scales Nation can. But you need you need something, in
this case, what dollar? You took over Lemurian Palisades.
Right. So he does need to make a play and giants too get countered. giant troops, especially like giant thugs and mages and super combatants, they have much more longevity in the game. But giant troops, in my opinion, fall off reasonably quickly once you reach mid game.
Yes,
I mean,
although
he'll get Sayer, which don't you can mass produce them, but
yeah, although I gotta say, like, quickness regen Gibbors are can be absolutely terrifying.
sure.
Even though Ulm has some great matchups against giants, like I would be like Ulm does not have nobody has an easy way to deal with 60 regen quickness Gibbors. Just nobody does.
Well, that's not completely true, but I
I
mean,
mean, they're good.
you're gonna have to, yeah.
Go ahead. You were gonna say.
I mean, they're a threat. Like we can agree on that, but I mean,
Yeah, like
by the mid game, it's not like if you're prepared for it, it's not like a huge deal.
Sure. So like, compared to Utgard in this game, who had regeneration come online after year one, sure, that makes Gamherdings a bit scarier and a bit tougher.
Yeah,
But
Utgard's gonna have way
regenerating
better
Gamherdings
scales.
is nothing. They have nothing on quickness regen Gibbors, right?
Well, but Utgard didn't have to like burn his nation to the ground with scales. I'm sure he has almost no scales, like maybe a tiny bit of production to get the gibbers out.
Right, which is exactly so. Which is why he really needs to
Yeah.
have used those
Right.
to get something. And theoretically, the reason he got them is because he felt they were strong enough to accomplish that mission.
Right.
And I think he chose the wrong mission, which is to go get some stuff from Lemuria.
He should have sniped. He
stuff,
should have sniped these and then probably done something else.
Yep.
But I don't know where. We still haven't. I guess he had to conquer. If you conquer Utgard, get this wasteland. This was probably his spawn point generated by Map Nuke.
Probably.
Well, I guess he'd have to conquer Ulm and then conquer.
Honestly,
I don't know.
He didn't have like getting the wasteland.
I don't think he could have conquered Ulm.
Well, not knowing Ulm, I might not have chosen it. I think with the power of hindsight, I think he would have conquered Ulm. Like seeing what actually happened with Ulm, I think if Gath had moved that pile of quickness giants on turn 14 or whenever the bless came online, I think he could have run over Ulm.
Maybe. I don't know, man. 100 whatchamacallits, Ghoul Guardians, and then a couple hundred crossbowmen. I mean, he definitely can't just walk in there now.
But
the Ulm stack would murder these guys.
Currently, yes, because it's turn 28. But on turn 15?
I felt like he's been... I mean, for a long time, I've been saying, why doesn't Ulm attack Gath? Like, for a long time. So I don't know. Well, we'd have to go back, but I can't remember a time when I was thinking, man, Gath could just plow those Hellblessed giants into Ulm.
Well, it's weird that it never really occurred to us because Gath just had his doom stack of giants up in Lemuria for like 15 turns. And, there was a time when Ulm was bumping with Utgard. He just had his heavy cav. He had some wolves. He had some crossbows.
Oh, well.
Anyways.
But yeah, I think conceptually we're in agreement that he needed to make a play. And one thing he would be very good against is these damn Zedaeans. Kid out some of his Cohen Gadals as like mini thugs with people on guard commander. And then I think he would wreck Zedaeans.
Yep.
Because Zedaeans don't hit that hard and they have high protection. But if you look at like absolute damage, I think like for two reasonably high protection units fighting each other, the one that has the highest hits the highest damage hits is gonna win. And I think the Gadals win on that by a large margin.
Oh yeah, not even just like the units, just the Gibbors would beat the Zedaeans.
Oh, that's what I meant, the Gibbers. Yeah.
Yeah, the Gibbers. Oh, absolutely.
Because they're gonna hit
with quickness. They hit for like 30. They're giants. They hit for like 30. They don't
35
care. Oh,
or
you have
something.
20 protections. Zedaeans. Ooh.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
They hit twice per
27.
turn because they have a quickness, right?
Yeah.
And so they're doing like 10 plus damage per hit, and Zayden's have 15 hit points.
Right. Yeah, so they'll knock him out of this pretty... The lance charge would be a little painful, I think. So you probably need... If you can deal with the lance charge, then you're basically going to have 3 attacks, which are going to be doing, let's call it 18 damage. And then
they have, I think, 15
much
protection.
Yeah,
Like
so you
14
do... I
protection.
think getting Legions of Steel on them would be really important. But if you get Legions of Steel on them, I think you probably wreck those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. And everybody would love you for killing Raga.
And it's not, and in this case, it's not like you're like Atlantis can handle Lemuria, right?
Yeah.
It's not like by attacking Raga, you're dooming the world to, a super powerful Lemuria.
Right. And if he was going to finish Lemuria, I mean, it was kind of good of him to bide his time because other people ended up taking attrition. He's hardly taken any attrition in the Lemuria War.
Yeah.
But it's cost him a ton of turns with his only army that should have been out making hay while the magic was low. Okay, so that's Gath. Nothing is happening as per usual. Utgard, nothing happening. Let's look at the Abyssia, Satis. Oh, we've already looked at the Satis
We looked
stuff.
at this, and Marignon's still
Marignon's
sieging
still
down
sieging.
the fort, so
Yeah, okay, nothing to see.
nothing to see here. Looks like he's he might be going for that throne there. He's building up a lot around his capital.
Wait, who?
Marignon is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that very well could be. Or he could be going against Ulm. I mean, I think they're probably looking at each other, and this is just like an arms race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you're... This is the other kind of problem of building up this many troops, is like you're going to make your neighbors militarized too. So unless you're planning on fighting your neighbors, like, unless they have a nap, but even then, like if I saw somebody doing this next to me, I wouldn't get into another war. I would do exactly what Marignon's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this vicious cycle where like both people don't trust each other, and so they build up troops on the border, and then it's like, okay, I guess we might as well fight.
And, one of those players has to be wrong.
What do you mean?
Right? Like, well, if both of you are building up because you want to, like, if both players are thinking, oh, I'm going to build up troops and then later I'll go and kill him. And the other player is thinking, oh, I'm going to go build up troops and then later I'm going to go and kill him. Then only one of those two players has analyzed the situation correctly. Right? Because if you keep growing or building up your troops at whatever rate you're doing it, and you think you'll eventually be better than the opponent, but the opponent's doing the same thing, they're just building up troops and they think eventually they'll be better than you, then,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
by definition, one of you has misread the situation, right?
Okay, I see what you mean. You're saying if both people think the correct timing's in the future, then in reality, one of them's going to have a better timing earlier than later. So somebody should want to pull the trigger soon, and one person should want to pull the trigger later.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, that trigger, like Marignon or whatever, might still be waiting for the key tech. So,
right.
It could be that there's something happening soon, but...
Yeah. Turtle Wars.
We'll see. Turtles. Okay, I think that's actually it for this turn.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up the next one. Turn 29. And they're on turn 33 as we're recording this, so we're catching up with them. Wait, do I not have turn 29?
You sent them to me. I've got 29 and 30 still.
Okay, wait 1 second. I want to pause it on my end. You want to pause it on yours?
Sure.
Okay, apparently I was just looking at the wrong game, because I'm like that.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. Okay. God, not many things happening. So really it's just going to be Satis. Let's start with Satis. Because Satis, we know there are going to be fireworks. Just a bunch of long dead. And
We finally get
misplaced.
to see, misplaced chariots. Now this is the mage core.
So a lot of strength of giants and legions of steel we see. I don't know if I've seen strength of giants.
I saw some quickness. He's buffing his flyers here. He's got some Tengu that I think are in the back now, wrecking some.
Oh, he's
Reborn.
got these guys who are getting fluffed up to be the ultimate distraction. Moss Body, Iron Warriors, it looks like.
Yeah, they're getting gift to flight now.
Oh wait, how do they have protection 20?
Iron whatever.
No, but it's not. Natural protection 0. Oh, I think that's just Legions of Steel.
Yeah, just Legions of Steel.
Oh.
There are already dudes in the back, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we missed him. So he's got some Tengus. I don't know if they were on attack rear or attack archers.
I almost never see Tango work well. He
doesn't have a big bless, right?
Attack, magic weapons, undying.
Yeah. So in this case...
Flyers you need in critical mass. And if you don't have them in critical mass, they tend to just run in and die, which is exactly what's happened here.
Except, to be fair, I feel like having all of these long dead cavalry on hold and attack closest, which is what happened, is a bad move. In general. And it kind of hard countered the flying Tengu, but he sacrificed like all of his army position. I feel you do want to have a squad on hold and attack closest, but he didn't need the entire army.
And these guys have brought the whole army back, so now the mages are getting exposed.
Yeah, because they're all on hold and attack closest. They're hold and attack, yeah, that's what they're all on hold and attack closest. They're all trying to get that one.
Was that Banefire? What the hell was that? Someone just came here and blew everybody up.
I did not catch what that was.
Oh, Bolt of Unlife.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Well, Satis mentioned last turn that he was, waiting on this level of evocation.
I was to use Shadow Blast. I don't think I saw Shadow Blast. But the Joman army is very close to the army route threshold. Man, these guys are beefy. They've been here on the... This guy's been here on the front line for a long time. Okay, they get killed. But yeah, God, these guys actually did a ton of work. These idiots who got all buffed up and have flown back here.
And they're literally like regular commanders.
Yeah. I'll have to remember that. That's a good trick.
Well, Joman is a nation that has like all the buffs, right? They have all the paths. Yeah. So it's really easy to super fluff a bunch of dudes. Honestly, so Joman is gonna route here, but I'm pretty sure he killed all the mages.
Yeah.
And all his mages have just retreated successfully.
So yeah, I think it was still kind of a win for Joman.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Well, it looks like the Reborn did not.
So it looks like this week we had a replay issue because I definitely saw these guys die, and they're not immortal.
Yeah.
So in both versions, the version we watched and then this one, Satis won. But in the version we watched, his mages got killed. So it could be, and this is what I think happened in the different version, is that the flyer, these Hamato, or whoever it was that jumped in the back that caused a distraction for literally forever, they probably jumped in a different spot. They didn't make it as far back. That's my guess.
Yeah. Now, if we look in like Satis now, like, so they both actually basically just traded out their armies is basically what it looks like. Right?
Yeah.
We've got 136 casualties on Satis's side. And if we look down on German's side, we have about 147. Now, they're more valuable.
But he retreated too, so he probably lost some, probably like a fourth of them in the retreat.
Could be.
The other thing is, apparently the German player, he messaged me a couple days ago and said, I really just realized now that it's like this game's for new players, and I think I'm probably too experienced to be in it. And so he offered to sub out.
Right.
Which, like, his expansion was kind of garbage for being like an experienced player. But like here you can see him doing things, like even though he lost this, like these little things of like the super fluffed people on attack rear is not something you expect on a new player game.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but what I told him was give himself some kind of handicap and just stay in it. So I think he's not going to do naps, and he's going to have flat research where he goes like for 5 in everything and then 7 in everything and then like that.
Yeah.
So those are going to be his handicaps.
Ironically, though, for a nation like Joman, that's not a crazy research path.
Right. It's fine.
That's fine.
But if you treat it as a real handicap, there may be a situation where you need to go 7 before you have 5 in something else. So we'll see.
Now, honestly, if this was just a 1v1 between Joman and Satis, I'd be quite happy as Joman. He lost. They caused attrition, but Joman is in a better position to take that attrition. Now,
but with Raga in the mix, you really want to kill Satis easily and quickly to prepare for round 2.
Exactly.
Now this is interesting.
Now,
Atlantis has moved to where Satis's army was. And doing so, he has blocked off income from this Ragan force. And meanwhile, this Ragan force... Oh, no. Okay. Where did this... There was a bunch of guys here. Where did they go?
Good question.
I guess some of them went... Okay, so here's what he did.
Honestly, he could have just retreated.
No, here's what they did. They were here.
Okay.
Right, we thought they were going to go on top of the fort. He sent some of the flyers over the mountain range, the mountain pass, and then down here. And they were going to cut off or intercept these Satis raiders. He sent another group of just the Zedaeans to catch these Satis raiders if they raided north. But he didn't take this, and now Atlantis has it. So now he's probably thinking, what the fuck am I going to do?
Do you think... I don't think Raga was... Satis didn't fight Raga. He only took a province from... not Satis. Atlantis didn't actually fight Raga. He only attacked a Satisian province.
Right. So it wasn't technically an attack, but this looks like Atlantis is not very happy with this. Like, if anybody's going to be vulturing this portion of Satis, he's saying it's going to be me. That's what this move means.
Yes.
And he has, I think, what it takes to back it up. Like,
we were wondering. I was wondering, like 2 turns ago. Atlantis hasn't been reinforcing a lot in the Lemurian front. What's he been doing with the rest of his recruitment? Well, this is what he's been doing.
Yeah,
he's been getting ready to move north.
And Raga, I do not think can bring Zedaeans into Cold 3. So, like, Zedaeans in Cold 3 fighting glaive wielders, like the glaive ice guard, I think they'll just get chopped to fucking pieces. Because they're going to kind of tickle they'll kill the glaive ice guard, but not quickly.
Yeah, and also you have like 3 times or 4 times more, like just the cost. Like Zedaeans are like 120 gold.
Right.
You can get a lot of little Atlanteans for each Zedaean you're going to have there.
So what do you do if you're Raga here?
Well, Raga was hoping to just grab a whole bunch of land for free.
Right.
I think...
Which so far they've done. They've gotten income and they have taken
no losses.
If
Atlantis hadn't been interested at all...
Yeah.
So, okay, we don't know. We're assuming that Atlantis has hostile intentions here towards Raga. It could be that he doesn't, and he's just like, I just want like this Satis stuff, and he's kind of bullying Raga out of it. So Raga and Atlantis don't necessarily have to come to blows over this. If I'm Raga, I let Atlantis take some of this. Raga is reaching a little far, raiding all the way out to like Abyssia's cap circle. That seems a little greedy. I think as Raga, you cut your losses. You tell Atlantis, look, you take like this far eastern stuff, you can have it. And maybe as Raga, I just turn on Joman right now.
Yeah.
I take advantage of his loss against Satis. And I just take all the stuff that used to be Satis that is now Joman.
And I think that's what's happening. If you look at Zidaean movement, you can see the Zidaeans, which used to be on the Lemuria front, have been pulled out and they're heading towards Joman or Satis. Yeah. So I think there's like this window before Ryujin come out where these Zidaean are going to just mulch a Joman army.
There's also the fact that, in these situations, like, okay, you have Joman fighting Satis, and then Raga comes in, vultures on Satis a bit. Now, in some scenarios, if Raga then turns on Joman, you could imagine Joman piecing out with Satis and them both collaborating to fight off Raga. But the geography here makes that very unlikely.
Yeah.
So
I think what it turns into is like Raga taking over the war on Satis while picking off at Joman. And so he has to make like a strength assessment. Does he think he can do that? Because it's like in some ways he's now like Satis is somewhat weakened.
Yes.
And they're definitely on the back foot. But do you want to fight Satis while you've also got Joman nipping at your heels? And I'm not sure.
It's a little messy here because I don't know
see like overwhelming Ragan force.
Yeah, exactly. I don't either. Now it depends how much Satis wants, right? Does Satis want to go up and take? How much Atlantis wants? I keep saying Satis. Does Atlantis? Is Atlantis just content getting like the coast here?
Or like carving this, carving this off.
If Atlantis wants that much, then although Raga would lose this greedy vulturing, that would allow him to very safely kind of focus on Joman because Satis would be worried about dealing with Atlantis.
But I think Satis calling out to Atlantis to help, like especially if he just won a battle, like getting all this from Raga, and then
but Satis is not going to take this stuff from Raga and give it back. Atlantis isn't going to take this stuff from Raga and give it back to Satis.
Yeah, but who cares?
Right, what I mean, like Satis calling for help is not.
No, but that's still help because like Raga is going to be committed to his destruction. Atlantis isn't necessarily committed to his destruction. He's just trying to get this land. So they would have like a temporary alliance where Satis is going to get help in defending his capital by having Raga have to deal with Atlantis coming in, and it also fucks over the vulture by feeding a different vulture.
I mean, the simplest outcome here, although it could definitely be bloody, is you just have like a Raga versus Atlantis war, and we keep on the sideline we still have the small powers Joman and Satis fighting.
I don't think that happens because this land is really only worthwhile to Raga so long as he gets a big portion of Satis. Like this is ultimately if Joman or Satis ends up having control of this region, this land is of pretty marginal value to Raga.
So you think if Atlantis wants, he could just bully Raga out of all of what he's just raided, and Raga would just basically give it all up?
I mean, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that assessment. I think that's... But does Atlantis see that? Does Atlantis feel bold enough to make that claim? I don't know.
This is a bold fucking move. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, I think it's a good first start here because Atlantis, who's in a great position, by the way, um, he's feeling safe-ish with this little garrison he has on Lemuria, and he's looking for his next moves. And obviously, he's decided he wasn't going to pressure Droman, and he's decided to go north. So I kind of like this as a next development here for Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, I think the timing for Atlantis also is when do you backstab Joman? I mean, not Joman, Bogarus.
Which, speaking of which, we'll get to Bogarus in just a moment. So Atlantis has signed a nap with Bogarus and has obviously decided not to be a dick
Right.
and not kill him while he's fighting Agartha. Because that was a great opportunity to end your nap, right? So that could have been a great move for Atlantis, but he has to balance, like, he just saw Raga get like 5 times bigger.
Yeah.
So maybe he felt that was a...
And getting Scalarius' capital is actually a prize for Atlantis. That 9 death gem income is very significant. They're a nation that can spend those death gems easily.
Yes.
So...
yeah, I'm curious to see how the Diplo is going to evolve here with Atlantis and Raga in the future. Let's see what. Yeah,
just PD.
PD, and that's not the combined army. I don't think. Could be wrong.
I kind of think it is actually. I'm not sure.
Let's take a look on the map here after this.
Oh
no, it is not. Oh,
it's mostly. Yeah.
Ooh, this is unfortunate.
Spicy. Break on the lance charge. They lost like probably 5? 1. Holy shit. Clean.
Nice.
So but there was a battle here too.
Oh, he popped the palisades. I guess it was only a few caves.
He's got some of these guys inside. And they're kind of getting shredded by crossbow fire, but...
Yep. That's a lot of crossbows.
But just not enough heavy cav to deal with these cave knights, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like the timing, the scripting here should have had the Ichthids with the heavy cav at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they kind of just got surrounded. Now, the crossbows are doing great work. If the front line had kind of lasted a little bit longer, the crossbows might... I think they killed all the mages.
Yeah, let's look at the battle report here. So he lost an Eparch, 7 Black Hoods, 9 of the Malia Druzina. Killed only 1 Cave Knight fully, 8 partially, and then 4 of the Alchemists. Yeah, I'd say pretty sizable loss for Bogarus, though.
Yeah, because as the Cave Knights, slow as they are, they were able to catch the retreating crossbowmen.
Yeah.
The front line was a little bit weak here, I think, from Bogarus. He knows he's fighting cave, whatever they're called, Cave Knights. So he needs to either script it so that his Ichthids... Like, I think the best kind of...
I think he needed, like, more Eparchs or something. Like, he needed more punching power to get through those Cave Knights before... And this wasn't even scripted well from Agartha. Like, if Agartha did Elementals or something with those Alchemists, it would have been worse.
Yeah. The best I think Bogarus could have done with that army, and I don't think he needed to storm right away, but if he wanted to, was to kind of do the reverse, like... trap the Cave Knights coming out of the fort in the fort wall, because the Cave Knights are the superior unit in this fight.
Yeah.
So if you only have 3 or 4 Cave Knights on the front line, if you're able to time that, so that you wait outside the fort for the Cave Knights to come out, because he had a nice number of crossbows. Though. Yeah, but it is hard. He didn't have a lot.
Because Cave Knights are slow, so they're going to have that advantage of being on their side of the battlefield.
Yeah, you just got to put because he has some heavy...
If he has Cave Knights towards the back on hold and attack, you can't not fight them inside the fort.
You can't outweight them.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you are if you're Agartha and you put your cave knights on hold and attack in the back, you're like guaranteeing that everything's going to come flooding in.
Yeah,
Now,
which I
in
think
this
is what you
case,
want.
well, in this case, that's what he wanted. But that's sort of an odd. That's like a second
I mean, I
level
think that's
move
what
on
you
both
do.
players.
I mean, that's not like what you might should do. That's what you do. And then you have your Catonian alchemists make elementals, which is kind of what you normally have those guys do. That's probably a pretty solid defense. I thought Bogarus was going to have it just like last turn when we were looking at it. I didn't even know it was inside. I just figured, of course, they're going to be able to storm that fort. But
yeah, given
I mean,
like the amount of stuff he has here, I'm not. I
but 10 Malia Druzina versus 18 Cave Knights, there just wasn't enough firepower behind them to make this part work out. Like, he probably needed 25 Malia Druzina.
Yeah, not enough of a front line for Bogarus.
Yeah.
However,
yeah.
aside from that,
it's looking pretty good. This army's a little trapped. Well, no, I guess it can go over here, but it's a little trapped.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of purple on the map, not a lot of black.
Yeah, but he can easily take this and this, and then easily take this and this. Or I don't know if he can.
And Agartha kept that army in that fort in the south or southwest.
Yeah.
He didn't try to join up.
Which is odd, I think.
I mean, he could time it out. He knows when his walls are going to end, so he didn't have to run out then, but now he's opening up his army to being intercepted way more easily.
Yeah. So this is interesting. And it didn't even look like this army was terribly... Like, he didn't have gems or anything on the alchemists, I don't think. I don't know the degree to... Agartha may have also kind of given up. I'm kind of getting a strong give up vibe. Didn't move out. Basically no army movement. Didn't ping or anything on the outside. I think he's basically given up.
Yeah,
he did patrol, but I mean, no thought was put into this. No mage support to defend your cap PD. So,
yeah, that's a weird patrol.
It's a very weird patrol. It's like, let's just put some more guys outside to die, rather than like if you patrol, you want to have like all your mages out there probably, or you don't patrol at all.
Yes, there's no reason to lose those guys. Okay, odd move by Agartha. He may be right. He might have given up.
Yeah, I think there's been a real life morale rout.
Yep. Which is important in Dominions, honestly. Sometimes breaking your opponent's morale is the key to victory.
Wait, how did Bugger? Oh, this went up. I was like, how did this army get all the way down here? And then I'm like, oh, it's from the other side.
Right.
Not much play down here in the Abyssia region.
I'm a little concerned that Marignan, like, Abyssia lost all his outside armies, but he still had an army in his cap.
I don't think it was that much.
With some mages. I forget now. It's been too long. But I feel like
this
I don't
is
know.
Small, though. He probably needs like another 60 troops at least.
Yeah, and Marignan has hundreds of troops. But, well, we were wondering what was going to happen. It looks like Ulm. Oh, that Ulm might be going for the throne. Oh no, that's hot. That's heat. Well, it's hot there. Is it hot there? Yeah. So you can go. There might be some epic bumps happening here.
Yeah. It's very tense looking.
Yeah. I feel Marignan could have afforded to and probably should have dispatched, another army. Like, there's no reason to make it a costly siege of a storming of Abyssia's fort. Like, bringing a bit of overwhelming strength to make sure that you
Caps
don't lose
hard.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that, like, if he wins that fight by losing 100 dudes, where he could have brought an extra 100 dudes and then lost 20 dudes.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what you want to go for. Utgard.
They've got gam-herding tax collectors just keeping the capital in in a highly policed state.
I feel Utgard is being uh, paranoid is too strong a word, but he is fearing being attacked by somebody. Now we don't know. Maybe he is. Like maybe Marino has ended his nap with him. I don't know, but I'm not seeing like it's been 15 turns, and Utgard hasn't made any sort of.
He made this play, but this is like a very tiny play. Utgard is not on the clock, though, exactly.
True.
They're a nation that's going to scale pretty well. They do have good mid-game timings, though, but maybe not as strong as some of the human nations. But then these Palisades are also triggering. Palisades guys are a liability, okay? So, like, almost anything can one-turn pop a Palisade. It's a liability, guys, so don't just build naked Palisades. Gotta upgrade them forts. So yeah, not much happening in Utgard. I think, have we covered everybody now? I think we've covered the major conflicts.
I think that's it.
All right, well, in that case, thank you guys for watching.
Take care, guys. We'll see you next turn.